Acts 28 starts off with them finding out that the island they've landed on is called Malta. It tells us that the people there were unusually kind to them and made them a fire since it was cold and rainy. And look at what happens in verse 3. When Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and put them on the fire, a viper came out because of the heat and fastened on his hand. And look at the response from all the natives in verse 4. When the native people saw the creature hanging from his hand, they said to one another, "No doubt this man is a murderer. Though he has escaped from the sea, justice has not allowed him to live." And then look at what happens in verse 6. They were waiting for him to swell up or suddenly fall down dead. But when they had waited a long time and saw no misfortune come to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a god. So they tried to wrap their mind around and give an explanation as to what was happening without the truth of God. See, Jesus claims to be the way, the truth, and the life. There's a spiritual realm out there, and if you don't have the truth of Jesus, you're not going to understand it. So all of these people were trying to lean on their own understanding and put together some sort of explanation as to why this viper was on Paul's hand. And Proverbs 3:5 tells us this: "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding." So when you find yourself in a spot that you don't really understand, don't try to diagnose it and come up with an explanation as to why before you ask the Holy Spirit for his understanding. And this video is to help you understand that it is more spiritual than you think. And Ephesians 6:12 explains it. "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places." So if there are things that you don't understand, it's probably because it's spiritual and you're thinking about it from an earthly perspective. In the same way that these people tried to explain and rationalize why Paul was bit by a viper. And their mindset was very cause and effect. They thought that the effect of him being attacked by a viper was because he was a murderer. And then they tried to rationalize and explain to themselves that since he didn't die or swell up, he was a god. And I know we can do the same thing. We take a situation that's happened to us or somebody else and we immediately think about the cause to the effect. But why do we try to come up with these answers on our own instead of going to God when 1 Corinthians 1:25 says this: "For the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men." This is putting it plainly that God is infinitely greater than us in every way. And what's amazing about God is that he wants to give us access to it. So why would we not seek his wisdom and counsel as opposed to just trying to figure it out on our own when we don't even have the full story like he does? And the Holy Spirit is waiting to give you wisdom, but again, we have to submit and ask. So I pray that you're reminded of this video next time you're in a situation where you just don't understand what's happening, and remember to seek the spiritual wisdom that only the Holy Spirit provides. And that finishes our series of understanding who the Holy Spirit is, why his power matters, and how it applies to you. God bless.